So I will call it a beautiful Sunday because it rained and then the sun was able to ebb its way out. So we could at least enjoy a little breath of a little fresh air, cool, fresh air. All right, welcome to the Political Spotlight right here on Voice of the People 92.3 FM. If you are just joining us for the first time, the Political Spotlight is where we get to talk about issues that trended in the political scene for the past week, especially from Monday, and especially these issues that generated conversations or reactions from several quarters and from several sectors. And the idea is that I bring in seasoned analysts who help us delve into these issues, give us their perspectives on these particular issues, and then we get your response as per how the conversation goes. Also, you can join us on YouTube. It's at Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We stream most of our programs live. Also, it's at VOP TV Live too. We actually have our TV YouTube channel. It's at VOP TV Live. At VOP TV, that's Voice of the People TV. So you can go on there and enjoy most of the contents that we have therein. Also, follow us on our social media handles at VOP 90.3 FM and of course at VOP TV Live. You can follow me on YouTube at Estiq Media. That's ESTIQMEDIA. ESTIQMEDIA, and across my social media handles as well. On Twitter is Estiq Media, on YouTube that's at Esther Wachuku, Estiq Media on YouTube, and Instagram Esther Was, Facebook Esther Wachuku as well. So officially I welcome you to the Political Spotlight, and I want to start off with this before I introduce my guest. Now, apparently the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, has submitted that for Nigeria to overcome its challenges, the people must look inward and deploy homegrown solutions. The outspoken clergyman submitted that though the country's problems look gigantic, they are all surmountable. He added that those responsible for problems in the country are also suffering the repercussions and they have no peace themselves. I don't know if that's true, because the way it is, when we see most of our political elite and the way they enjoy themselves, it almost feels like they don't even feel the groans of the people. So it's only when something dreadful happens and obviously the money they have cannot work in their favor, that's when we begin to hear about their situation. Okay, so but however, let's go on with what Matthew Kuka is saying. He called on Nigerians not to see their country as the only one with challenges, because when they travel to other nations and environments, they will discover that all parts of the world also have their own unique challenges. So on Friday, he was a keynote speaker at the 3rd Annual National Public Lecture of the First News with the theme, The Nigerian Question, Survival of the Federation in the Throes of Increasing Economic Challenges in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State. So according to him, in his words, the good thing about Nigeria is that everybody knows what the problems are, and the people who are responsible for the problems are not also safe. They also do not know peace. He says if you talk about other countries, he feels very sorry for a lot of Nigerians because there are severe troubles they are going through. It's difficult for them to even travel out of their immediate environment, not to talk of traveling to other parts of Africa or other parts of the world. So it is important for Nigerians to value what they have and not consider their country to be the only nation going through its own economic challenges. Okay, now to reiterate or buttress what Matthew Kuka said, is a former Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Borotai, retired. He has accused the political class of creating insecurity in Nigeria. Okay, so I recall when Borotai was the Chief of Army Staff, we did have serious Boko Haram and banditry occurrences in most parts of the country, specifically the northeast and the north central. In fact, it's still ongoing. But at the time, I recall that there were several meetings with the president at the time, and the president was asking for a breakdown of all the military strategies they had employed to curb the incessant attacks of Boko Haram. In fact, their Boko Haram attacks were so brazen, and everyone wondered because the amount of money allocated to our defense system, our defense sector is huge. So the question that, a lot of Nigerians were asking at the time is, if you're giving this amount of money allocated to you or allocated to that sector, why do we keep seeing these brazen attacks of this Boko Haram terrorist group? I'm not even going to call them bandits because they were brazen in their attacks. So that's one of the reasons he came out to answer questions. He's saying that it's a dire situation, a corny circumstance, but that it is a political class who are creating the insecurity in Nigeria. He made this allegation while he was sharing his experience in a lecture as well. It's another lecture, Public Service and the Imperatives for National Security in Nigeria, in the second stanza 2023. Now, the former army chief criticized those who called for his sack over the insecurity in the country while he was in office. So Buratai said such calls stemmed from personal biases rather than an objective evaluation of his performance. He said, and I quote, "These individuals might have held negative opinions of General Buratai based on subjective factors such as personal preferences or biases unrelated to his actual capabilities. It is crucial to approach discussions regarding national security matters with a fair and impartial mindset, focusing on relevant aspects rather than personal biases and idiosyncrasies." He advised politicians, public servants, as well as civil servants to live above board by eschewing corruption, which he said had plagued the country's political sphere for decades. In other words, what I can interpret from what Buratai is saying is that our politicians are the ones creating the insecurity in the country and possibly maybe profiting from it. And he literally said that those who were calling for his sack at the time, he sounded like his hands were tied, because he obviously could tell those who were involved or those who were creating this problem, but then there was nothing he could do, possibly because they were occupying the higher echelon of the government. I recall too when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came out to address Nigerians concerning the removal of fuel subsidy. This was the second time. This time, he was pleading that Nigerians should please be patient with him and be understanding that the reason why fuel subsidy was removed is for the benefit of Nigerians, because Nigerians were not benefiting at all from the subsidy removal. In fact, rather, they were not benefiting from subsidy being implemented on petrol. He said because the elite of the elite were the ones benefiting from it. We asked the president, who are this elite of the elite? You cannot mention them. You are the executive, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, meaning that if you know who these individuals are, you can call them out, all right? But it felt like the president couldn't say, but rather just try to make the enterprise, the means through which they were making their money from, he was trying to make it difficult for them. And then we ask ourselves, what aspect of governance do we have our executive operate, and in what way are they eschewing or rather implementing their authoritative stance in the aspects that they're meant to implement the authoritative stance? So for Buratai at this moment, trying to exonerate himself from being part of the system that created the imbroglio of insecurity in the country based on the statement he made at the lecture, I think it begs the question, so if you know the political elite who were causing this insecurity, why didn't you call them out when you were the chief of army staff? I mean, that's a big question. Okay. All right, I'm going to introduce my guest in the studio whom we will have this conversation with. Unfortunately, it's just only one person. I did try to get a couple of others, but they had a lot of functions to attend. You know, it's a weekend, so I do not blame them. However, I want to say, Barrister John Wokedi, thank you so much for being part of the Sunday Political Spotlight. Good evening.
Thank you so much. Viewers, I greet all of you. Happy Sunday to all of you.
All right. Now, so do you agree with what Buratai said?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all in any way, in agreement with him, because Burutai's reign as chief of army staff was a total failure, colossal failure, a big embarrassment to every member of this country. It was as if we never had any military at all. Boko Haram had a field day in all their actions, activities. And like you rightly said when you are making your comments, we kept on hearing humongous amounts of money earmarked for equipping the military in order to have enough capacity to combat Boko Haram and then either reduce their menace or totally eradicate the menace. But the opposite was what we saw then. Now he's coming out to tell us a list. Okay, when he was in power, he would have actually pronounce those people responsible. These are people making jobs difficult for you. These are people making you not to achieve the kind of desired objective assignment given to you by the president of the country as number one commander of army troops after the president. The president as chief of command, this year and whatever, chief of commander, whatever. by kind of how do we not in person, ceremoniously. The real commander-in-chief of armed forces of Nigeria is chief of army staff, and not the president. The president is ceremonial because he will only give them instruction to like go and do this. But the real people are at the battlefield, carrying out day-to-day activities of protecting and securing this country. Are the Nigerian military, especially land armies, that's why I have chief of army staff. You might have naval and air force, all those things. They're not mostly trained to they're not combatant soldiers. They don't go to the field. They don't do field operations. They work in the sea and they fly in the air. They can only come the air for the combatants to take over the ground and then clear the maybe insurgents or terrorists or whatever of any territory they occupy. That's why the chief of army staff is always the most powerful. And this is the office that Brutai held during that period. And it was until when there was a kind of unanimous outcry of Nigerians that President Buhari deemed it appropriate to remove him. And after his removal, we saw changes. Although I think the person that took over from him died in an air crash.
Yes, we would even come to that.
And he was already making tremendous progress. He came, he addressed the troops, he encouraged them, he was in battlefield, he equipped them, he gave them allowances, and we saw Nigerian armies making advances, clearing Boko Haram of so many of the domains that they hitherto occupied when Brutai was in charge. For me, Brutai should be tried. And sometimes I don't even know why these people should have their way into the public instead of being tried for gross misconduct, for misappropriation of public funds.
Yes.
Imagine him calling Nigeria corrupt. How can you say because of Nigeria must deal with corruption? And this is an insult to the nation. People that are deep into corruption when they were in power will suddenly finish serving that and come back and begin to blame people from being corrupt. I was with a governor that somebody that declared $5.something billion. I don't think a governor or somebody like that declared 5.something, about 41 trillion. This man was never in any business. He was a central bank, worked there, whatever, became a governor, and was declaring a worth of $5 billion. It took some point now. And tomorrow, the same man will finish his tenure and start regarding Nigeria as being corrupt. That we should have to deal with corruption. So Buhari is just like insourcing the sensibility of Nigerians.
Well, Brutai.
Brutai is insulting the sensitivity of Nigerians. And Brutai is part of the reason that Buhari failed.
You think so?
Yeah, Buhari failed woefully in so many aspects. Security, have you forgotten the level of killings in Plateau State that buried more than 1,000 people in a day, 700 people in a day? The one in Plateau, the one in Benue, they all took place when Buhari was present. You see the massacre in Brunei and so many things that happened during that period. So, and Buhari was the one in charge of the army then. Buhari did not score any kind of credible mark in performance regarding security in Nigeria throughout his 8 years. If there was any reason that made Nigerians to look up to 2023 election to come, it was for Buhari to exit that office. So I will know how to deal with the issue of insecurity. Because from every indication, it was Buhari was culpable. There was a conspiracy in the high places involving the office of the president. It may not be elaborated, but there was that insinuation there. And if you go by what was the free hand, all those terrorists and the bandits or whatever they were having everywhere, in Plateau, in Southern Kaduna, in Benue States, in the East, even in Ondo States, where they attacked the Catholic Church and other things, nothing was actually done. So, for the case of Brutai, it took the outcry of Nigerians to get him out of that office. And for me, he was disgraced out of office. I don't know why a group should even give me a platform to come and begin to massage his ego, launder his image. Such a man is not supposed to talk in any public forum at all, because he didn't do well at all. If Nigeria is a functional society, if Nigeria is actually a functional society, that era of Brutai as chief of army staff must be reviewed and properly investigated, and all the monies earmarked, for Nigerian military to combat Boko Haram and other insecurities, then other those terrorists and
exactly
should be carefully and routinely checked and come up with actual amount of money that went into purchasing arms to combat those people. So for me, I'm not in agreement with whatever Brutai has said. And for him to even mention corruption there, for me, he's the symbol of corruption in the Nigerian military. Other people that took over from him, they were not as corrupt as that man was when he was in power.
It's quite unfortunate because you would expect that the new administration would do what you call investigations on the past of those who served in such sensitive capacities with the previous administration, ask them to account for the monies allocated to their sectors, and then put them on trial, ask questions. But it feels like anytime a new administration comes on board, they kind of enable the discrepancies that occurred in the previous administration and also create more discrepancies and infractions. And it's bringing me back to, I don't know if you were yesterday, you heard about the plane crash that occurred in Ibadan, where how a minister and 12 others survived. Now let's look at the situation. Thankfully, nothing happened, and they didn't drop at a zone where there was a security risk, where you could have Boko Haram members and all that. Then it's an opportunity for them to be kidnapped or possibly killed. That was the Minister of Power, Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, and 12 other passengers and flight crew narrowly escaped a tragic fate as their HS-125 aircraft bearing nationality and registration marks 5NAMM operated by Flint Aero crashed in Ibadan. Apparently, the operational license for that particular Flint Aero, they were not cleared to fly. Their flight license had expired. But these are public officials, so some things, can be waved away. Now, imagine if it was not a public official that this particular Flint Aero was conveying, maybe a private individual, and something like this happened. You will now see the Aerospace Investigation Bureau wanting to make investigations. That's not the first time. That's not the first time we're having public officials be involved in a helicopter crash. And when investigations are made, it's either due to the fact that there was negligence, or maybe that helicopter does not really have a proper flight permit. I don't know if you recall where former Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was also involved in a helicopter crash too. I think that was when in Kogi State, he survived when the helicopter in which they were traveling crashed. The incident happened at Kaba Township Stadium. He was in Kogi in continuation of the Trader Money Scheme, which was scheduled to visit Kaba, Okene, and Ida, headquarters of Kogi West Central and East, respectively. At exactly 2:40 p.m., the first chopper in Osinbajo's entourage made a successful landing and was followed by the second chopper conveying the VP. Now, imagine if the VP had died. You recall, too, that we had a former chief of army staff who died via this means. That was last year. He wasn't even up to 6 months. I remember he made a statement where he said he was going to clear out all this Eastern Security Network, and it wasn't up to a month or 2 months when he had that terrible crash. I mean, I feel that this is an embarrassment to our nation when our public officials supposedly fly these helicopters, and you cannot say it is a custom for safety. This is a bedevilment of corruption in depth into every sector, including the political officers who are meant to ensure that these things do not occur. See what happened yesterday. What's your take on that?
See, I don't want to say this, I have to say it. I remember in the 90s, I think in the 90s or thereabout, I was very small then. My stepfather was actually having a business within African sub-region. He came back and told me when they said Nigerian Airways would die. I said, how? He said, if I see what was going on there, that's Nigerian Airways. I didn't even know much about it because I was not flying. He said Nigerian Airways would die. It won't be long, it will be off air. I said, how? He said, if I look at the level of corruption and malpractices and everything, how they weigh the products will put, some people will come with so many luggage, they won't even weigh it. They just pack it there and do all sorts of things. That you wonder how they're making money for Nigeria. With all the level of corruption and things they pack inside that airline, flying within African coast, have payments, make calls and load things, and so there's only few of them that used to pay. It wasn't long he said that Nigeria Airways was off. Just ordinary trader. As a very young boy that was based in my secondary school, he just told me that. I still remember that statement he made. That Nigeria, why? There was high level of corruption. Man no man. It's from my tribe, it's from my religion, it's from my region, it's from my, I have his contact, I have his connection. I'll call somebody, I'll talk to 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 him. And that's the problem we have in Nigeria. Somebody I'll talk to somebody, I'll talk to somebody, I'll talk to another person, I'll talk to someone, I'll talk to him. Because whenever there was issue in this rail line and somebody caught people collecting tickets without going through the proper procedure, loading them inside the train, without paying them, limiting them into the proper channel. I told them that thing will not see any light. If those people doing that thing will call somebody, they'll call somebody, they'll call somebody, they will not be investigated. Today they are not investigated. They are not investigated. So the problem we'll have is like most of people that will conduct evaluation of the capacity of these flights, their flight worthiness for them to fly will be compromised. I said this that I saw a video clip of airline removing this jet air, this fuel that they use. That somebody mixed water. Jet A1. Somebody diluted it with water. And then how they discovered that, and water was just getting out of the fuel tank of a flight that ought to take people off. And somebody was making money from there. And that flight wouldn't have actually succeeded because, in mid-air, that water aspect, by the time if that flight is so smart to pick up the fuel and sip the water, but the quantity is supposed to have in the air will basically not be enough for that flight to get to the destination. And people will die. And somebody will make money. That's to show the level of decadence we have gotten into in the name of making it in Nigeria. Now, all the everything about it, because I fly too, they have so many agencies scrutinizing every of the operations. So before you pass through the processes of all these regulations and checks and other things, there is no way you will see any plane or chopper of whatever that will not have a flight worthiness that will be allowed to fly. But the point is that people there are always, there was a friend I knew, and I don't want to say this or listen to me. Someone had an issue for the fact that all of us have the NYC. He called someone that called to him, and he said they should go. And the guy left. He was telling me that, I said, why would that happen? He said he didn't even search what he has because a call came. I said, you benefited from that, but it's wrong. Even though we know the guy is our friend from the North South. I said, that was not. What you have done is to tell them to search what you people have, then clear you and go. But he said they made a call and they told them to go without being searched. And the young man was happy. I knew somebody that can do it. I said, that is wrong. It's part of the problem we have in our system, which all of us must collectively battle, even if we are to benefit from it. Now, imagine that mishap in Ibadan, or what would have happened. But go and mark it. Nobody will be held responsible. That's the problem we have in Nigeria. People will do something very, very egregious, something very, very heinous, something very, very outrageous, something that contravenes existing rules, existing status, existing laws. And at the end of the day, nobody will be prosecuted. Nobody will be jailed. Nobody will be arrested. Nobody will be arraigned. They go to court and see people. I'm not speaking on behalf of Yahoo Boys, but you see people being arraigned because they saw $500 in their account. Some because they saw a chat where he was calling somebody boss. I know one of them because he called somebody boss. How is the weekend? Boss. Say, why are you calling him boss? That's the language of the street. That there must be something going on. Just have my point. Somebody call somebody client. But these people will see, it's my friend in Canada, to be precise. He said, Joe, I'm not practicing yet in Canada. I said, why? But you're very intelligent. I said, Joe, that place, their law is more against the rich than the poor. That the law faces the rich. Even that their law is like looking at the rich. That it's better you commit offense as a poor man. That the law will understand. But once you are of the high profile and you do anything wrong,
very drastic.
Very, very drastic, that they're interested in bringing somebody down, high profile people down. Their law is couched in a way that is targeting the rich there. If you practice medicine, if you practice law, they say, if you make a mistake, there's a law, they'll take your certificate, they'll fine you. That they even have a kind of, what I call it, insurance you pay every year as a lawyer. Every year you must pay that money. So if you give somebody wrong advice and it backfire, they'll go and take that money from that insurance. Just advice you get, they will review the advice you give a client. I say, what? He says, so every advice you give somebody there, if you're not sure of that advice, you cannot give it. But look at Nigeria here. Imagine that kind of system. So if they want, because the problem we'll have is that we always cover up. And like what the question you just said, why most of all these military chiefs are not investigating. I think they try to investigate what's that one? Minima and the HURIWA. At least Buhari made an attempt in trying to investigate them.
But he didn't succeed.
He didn't succeed in getting to the bottom of it. That is, he made an attempt. But now, the problem now is that can Tinubu summon enough courage to investigate people that worked in Buhari's tenure? Because Buhari did that because these guys served under PDP. And they wanted to extract all the money, which so much from the Buhari recovered under his tenure that entered nowhere.
I expected the president to even investigate former aviation minister Hadi Sirika. There was so much complaints about how he...
Hadi Sirika did a lot of things. But I'm telling you that the present government, literally the problem we have, that's where we are driving that's very, very dangerous in Nigeria. And if we allow that mentality to be internalized into our system, it won't be long. This country will become a past history. People tend to see government as their own time to chop. Get it clear. Some people now believe it is time of Tinubu and his men, or maybe people from Southwest, to chop.
To eat.
And benefit food from their own national cake. That's why sometimes when election comes, people fighting for their region, for their tribe, for their religion, but they believe other people have actually eaten. Now they believe they can chop with South and some people are Southeast. Buhari came and chopped with the North. So Tinubu's men may not want to distract Buhari's men. Their own is to create an avenue for them to chop their own. Enter into central bank, look for an avenue, chop their own. Enter into the military, look for avenue, chop their own. Enter into aviation, look for avenue, chop their own. Enter into an NPC, look for avenue there, chop their own. That is why this country finds it difficult to grow. Because if you look at someone that will come and be like a Nigerian president, that will be like a president of Nigeria, that will come and work for the interest. I told someone, look, I don't care where you come from. If you want to be a president of Nigeria, the only person that came close to that was Obasanjo. Nobody can claim he chopped under Obasanjo, and nobody can claim he was a good friend of Obasanjo. Every tribe has people. Every tribe was also suffered from Obasanjo's menace, but Nigeria benefited, and that was how we had the biggest,
especially the telecom sector. It was a breakthrough. Even
real estate. So that Lekki emerged. It was under Obasanjo Lekki emerged, and so many other places make Lekki. When we were in law school, traveling to Lekki was going to a zoo. I remember when we went there together in 2006, was like a zoo. We never dreamt. I remember I went to that estate, that pastor estate, I was like, God, was that place a place where he's in shut work and somebody come and live? What kind of nonsense place is this? That was even that, that time.
Now it's a highbrow area.
A highbrow area.
An area, a choice location.
Yes, Obasanjo opened that axis. It was Obasanjo's time. Real estate, exploded. Banks had liquidity. Oil and gas excelled too.
It's true.
Yes, oil and gas excelled. Even what I call it, entertainment also came up.
And tourism.
Tourism came on board.
At that time, we didn't have insecurity at this maximum level.
At all. So, because the government was people viewed his government as government of everybody. It was government that reflected almost the whole Nigerians in the present day. And Nigerians took it up as their own and fought for it. Because I've always told it's not in a sectional kind of people that actually establishes the growth of a country. People must buy into any development of a country as their own project. If they don't buy into that, that country will not succeed. So I'm calling on the president, although I'm so sorry to say this, part of fears we had during the election was that it would be very, very difficult, if not impossible, for Tinubu's government to fight corruption. What I told my friends, Tinubu will mobilize more money, mobilize more resources, and make everybody feel good. He will raise more money, get more money will be in circulation for people to eat. Those close people eat and
so it may blind them from any other obvious anomaly.
To fight corruption, no, we have to be very, very sincere. Tinubu is not that kind of person.
Well, he may surprise us.
He cannot surprise us at all. Remove that surprise.
You're so certain. Very,
very certain. Because his colleagues, his associates, people that have actually worked with him right from when he was governor, these are few good guys. And Tinubu cannot become president. He can't even do without them. He wouldn't have succeeded without them. Somebody was like, why is this man everywhere? I said, Tinubu is not everywhere. It was his boys. His boys are everywhere. Both in the media, both in the legal profession, social circle, everywhere. I say his boys are like everywhere. They have to like make sure they get me into power for them to, feel good and have good fun and whatever. So what I'm expecting Tinubu may do, if he has can try to grow the economy, get more money for Nigerians and whatever, but he cannot fight corruption. He has no background or such a person that can fight corruption.
All right.
Or else it will backfire.
All right.
Many people will fight him too.
So let's look at this, where a former special advisor to Atiku Abubakar, Dr. Umar Ado, he has said that governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have already dumped the former vice president, that's Atiku Abubakar. Ado disclosed this in a statement on Atiku's political future, this weekend. And I want to read out his words. He said, reading through Atiku's last Monday press conference regarding the outcome of the Supreme Court's judgment and his position towards President Bola Tinubu's presidency vis-a-vis the following day's communique of the PDP Governors Forum after its meeting at the Oyo State Governors Lodge, it's obvious that the honeymoon between the party's 2023 presidential candidate and its governors is now over. So apparently, what they'll continue by saying is, during the address, the chairman of the forum, Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, extolled the leadership qualities of President Tinubu and reiterated the PDP governor's readiness to cooperate, support, and work with the federal government that he leads. Okay, so I don't know how to define this. They are saying that they want to disqualify Atiku Abubakar from the party. Maybe they feel that under his leadership, the PDP is not moving ahead as it wants to. But we have an Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, who claims he's still part of the political party, but his antics, his attitude, his behavior has been anti-PDP. This PDP had not asked for him to be expelled. They haven't asked that there should be any punitive measures against him. In fact, Nyesom Wike himself had boasted that the PDP can do nothing against him. I would understand the PDP by saying they want to re-strategize and not have Atiku Abubakar to be on the platform to campaign next time or to buy a primary nomination form to be a president in 2027, whereby he's a party's presidential flag bearer. I would understand, possibly because of the 4 or 3 attempts of Atiku Abubakar to be the president. He's the presidential candidate and they did not win or they did not come close. I think any political party will decide to re-strategize, look in-house and say, okay, this man has tried to be a president 3 times. This last time he really went all out, like he was like an opposition, with the whole certificate, CSU saga and all of that. But it didn't work on their behalf. And you do know that Peter Obi was once part of the PDP. And a couple of other strategists were saying, if possibly there was no greed by Atiku Abubakar, some people think he was greedy, maybe the PDP would have been the party in charge if they had decided to be more strategic rather than the way they went with, nominating Atiku Abubakar to be their presidential candidate, or him being the representative that had the money to buy the nomination ticket or nomination form and then he won. I would understand them trying to re-strategize, but saying you want to expel him from the party and then you're extolling the president. So is it that the PDP is no longer a strong major opposition party? Have they folded eventually? Does it mean now that the main opposition that Nigeria has is the Labour Party? Because the news coming from the PDP is beyond what Atiku Abubakar did, how hard he fought in terms of proving the illegitimacy of the president. Well, one would say he really went hard as an opposition this time, but what about the rest of the PDP members? Have they folded?
The major problem in any opposition party is that father figure.
Okay.
That father figure. Once you don't have that father figure, it's always the problem.
What do you mean father figure? In what regard?
Father figure is that there's always someone with highest office occupation.
Okay.
And when the Queen was alive, he played that role. That was why he was able to form G34 and the rest of them that actually was the founding members of PDP. Because he was a vice president. Do you understand my point? Now, by virtue of being that former vice president, by hierarchy, he was above all the senators, all the governors, all the senate presidents. He was only above a former president. He was above every other office occupant. Like in PDP now, the person who had played that father figure was Obasanjo, but he said he tore the party card during the 2019 election and said he's no longer a member. In fact, he's no longer a member of any political party now because he was a one-time president. So when he talks, many people that actually worked under him in the party will respect him. Not by virtue of whatever money or whatever influence, but by virtue of the fact that this is our father. We all worked under this man some time ago. The next person that will have actually played that role is Jonathan.
Okay.
But it seems that, flanger from here to here, nobody knows where he is. He's not fair.
I think he's now acting like a statesman who just wants true democracy.
Stable, he's not, yes. And that's mostly their fate. Whenever they have actually been a president, they don't feel like there's any need for them to still be actively involved in politics, since they've occupied the highest posts, in the land. So it's just for them to retire, prepare themselves, their exits, and then we go home. But now Atiku, considering how many times he has actually run for this election, it will be kind of necessary, appropriate to tell him to retire. He has actually played that father figure role. He has actually been that person they looked up to. Waziri, someone that was former vice president, very powerful under Obasanjo, that nominated so many people into offices, and many people benefited from many of the political, heavyweights now, like his boys then and all that. Then he has tried. I think when Atiku made a mistake, that actually cost him being Nigerian president. It's been a rolling stone.
A rolling stone.
Yes, a rolling stone.
Can you clarify better?
In 2015, he was a strong member of PDP. But he worked against Jonathan and moved to APC then. So even though he worked against Jonathan, he would have remained in PDP. Okay. And if he had actually supported Jonathan to complete his tenure, he would have actually taken over from Jonathan. Jonathan actually had only 4 years there to finish, and power will go back to the north. And probably he would have taken over from Jonathan. He was not patient enough to wait. He rather went and joined with APC, thinking that APC, maybe Tinubu and Rasta, will give him ticket ahead of Buhari. But Buhari was the choice candidate then. He would have known ahead of time that Buhari is their choice person that will actually, mobilize the north. While Tinubu will mobilize the south with cult followership that Buhari had in the north. Basically, he will be the choice candidate. And he went to that place and they chose Buhari, and he left again and came back to PDP again. Do you understand my point now? So people now began to when he came back to PDP, now power has actually gone to the north. He was now contesting against Northerner. Do you understand my point? He was now contesting against another Northerner. Northerner saw no reason. Because if Buhari wins, not them. If Atiku wins, not them. So he couldn't, get that sentimental drive that would have made votes in the north to go to him. When he challenged Buhari to, like what we have always seen in Nigeria, it's always very, very difficult to displace an incumbent. It's not because there was the general belief that Jonathan actually completed the tenure of Yar'Adua and then did another 4 years. He's supposed to go. Nobody would have displaced Jonathan. But it was that feelings in the north that made some of them to feel like they have a moral justification not to allow Jonathan to finish his fourth year in tenure. But that was where they made a mistake. People like Bangida allude them. People like, what's that his name? Atiku now. People like Danjuma Goje. The rest of all the political stalwarts in PDP then. If they had been calculative enough, they would have actually played low, sacrificed that 4 years for Jonathan to support Jonathan fully, for Jonathan to complete his years. Then power would have automatically gone to the north. And they would have been power brokers by now. Even, who's that former speaker, this governor of Sokoto State, Tambua, the rest of them. But because they allowed passion, to overwhelm them, and they went and sabotaged PDP and went to APC with Saraki and the rest of them. That was where they committed political harakiri. Political harakiri. Even Saraki and the rest of them.
But what I'm trying to say now is this:
so
beyond
PDP should. But the only problem I have in PDP now, who is going to be their father figure? Because if
when you say father, I want to understand something, because I feel like they have a lot of.
There must be someone that will resolve crises,
like an elder statesperson within the group. But I think beyond whoever will resolve any internal conflict within the party, I think in this time around it is somebody who can afford to pay. If, for example, now there is a governorship or a presidency they have means of raising funds. Okay, so I'm just trying to ask, for example, it's only been Atiku Abubakar consecutively for three different times.
He was a former vice president. in terms of hierarchy of offices he held, he's above every person in that party.
But when it's not working, don't you think that there could be a strategy?
Election, they have to strategize and get someone.
Because he said during his last press conference that he's not ready, he's not retiring.
There's something we always witness during a presidential primary election: internal crisis. Although Atiku failed woefully on that. If Atiku was very, very articulate and very, very smart, Atiku would have played on Nyesom Wike.
Okay.
Even when we learned later that Nyesom Wike even wanted to be VP, Atiku would have given him that VP.
Okay.
There will always be a way to control your VP once you have the power.
So that G5 was a major fracture for them.
Yes, but Atiku couldn't solve that problem. He has this overfloated a notion that he can win without them.
Are you sure he was the one who was bloated, or possibly those who were supporting him at the time within the party that gave him that confidence?
He didn't stoop to conquer. He never went to meet them. He was sending them emissaries. Atiku didn't. P2B met them. Tinubu met them. Atiku didn't meet them. Atiku was under sending them emissaries. At a point, he began to like grow up people underneath them, trying to feel like I can just render you redundant and then get
you have no import or impact in this party.
Produce other people from the party. That's what he wanted to do in Rivers, and it backfired. So if Atiku had actually in politics, you don't take any person for granted. As far as you're going for election, I contested for election in school. That people that will actually you believe you cannot do without might be your nemesis.
All right.
So you try by all means. As far as election is ahead of you, go there, kneel down, lie down, prostrate. Ambassador prostrated before Atiku to get to his second ticket. Get his second. Well, everybody knows about that. But the Ambassador finished his and Atiku is not present. Even as his vice, he went and prostrated, knelt down before Atiku. Atiku changed his mind. That is politics. But we didn't see Atiku do that during the last election. He allowed them, and these are his strongholds. He said those areas in South. And what if I actually picked those states? And again, where PDP made a very big disastrous mistake is thinking that nobody from Southeast can win election, can actually galvanize support of Nigerians. Because PDP stood out as somebody with every credential capability, even a kind of
I think Nigeria just wanted somebody out of the usual circle.
If you want somebody out of the usual circle, there's nothing wrong with that. But then winning election is another factor. You can, in democracy, you can do whatever you want that might suit you, but that may not get you to the office you want. So for you to get to the office you want, there are people you must romance to get there.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I was part of the other side, but I have to talk to court boys. I have to talk to wayward people. I have to talk to disco guys.
You have to reach out to those who could actually pull.
I had a meeting with some. If you guys that smoke you go in school, I met them. I'm telling you the truth. We had conversations. We have deals. But after I became a governor, after 2-3, I won 6 months. I told them those things are impossible. I can't keep to those agreements again. Just some point, if I keep to them, I will fail. So
do you think that's one of the reasons why most times when these guys get on the seat and they try to cop the menace of these people they met, before they won, who actually helped them, that they begin to destabilize that tenure? Could it be one of the reasons why?
They can only destabilize your tenure if you're not firm control, if you're not sincere, if you're not with the people. See, when you get to government, all you need to do is align with the people. It's material weather. Nobody can fight. See, when you become a leader anywhere, you are in charge, you are in total control. You can detect whatever that happens. You don't know how powerful power is.
So the question is, when the president came out to tell us that it is only the elite of the elite are benefiting from fuel subsidy, he refused to mention those individuals. No, he refused to mention who they were. Even the other time, the National Intelligence Agency, when they told us those who were funding Boko Haram, they said there were names of bureau de change operators that they had, and they knew they were funding Boko Haram. But it's almost like they are afraid of these people.
No, you see why you be afraid. It's not like you're afraid of them. They have a lot of legs within the government, within the system, within the populace. You don't just go after them. If you are sincere to deal with them, you don't just go after them. You go after those legs. You begin to clip their wings. You begin to come up with policies and procedures and rules and laws that render them ineffective. Before you come after, you don't go after somebody with gun, with bullets inside that gun. They will shoot you and kill you. When we are leadership, we don't try that. You first build your own strength, build your own followership, build your own goodwill through performance. you must take a positive step that make people to like buy into your own leadership, because you must get the support of the people. You don't just come in and bounce on them. Like if like this all this oil cabal or whatever, you don't just come in by begin to like mention their names. You may not have a clear legal framework to combat them, and they will defeat you even in court. So you have to come up with policies, with rules, with frameworks, with initiatives that make it difficult for them to operate. If you look at what they are doing, how they are bringing those things, let us say, okay, we're cutting off this. Like if it's one school, you must say that from so and so time, gates will be closed.
Yes.
So and so time, nobody will go out. You know those who don't want to come inside, they come after 12. It's closed, they're closing gates now by 11 o'clock. Because those guys come by 12. You cut them off. But you don't tell them, don't come inside the school again because you don't want to see your face. They'll fight you. After a while, if you know the businesses they have, you might ban those businesses. And those actually have like restaurant or whatever they have in school. You guys say school will no longer want to give license.
Okay, so in light of all this, let's go to Imo State. Imo State is now a hotbed of a number of issues. You do recall last week that the NLC president was attacked. The Imo State government, the Imo State Police Command, as well as the Imo State governor all denied having any hand in it. We do know that ever in the history of this country where we've had NLC presidents, this is the first time we're seeing these kind of brazen attempts on him, on the NLC president, regardless of the method, and it's Imo State too. So I feel like it's a way of crippling any form of opposition towards anything that the government wants to do, and I consider that very dangerous. So apparently the Nigeria Labour Congress has accused Hope Uzodinma of plotting to assassinate the president of the union, Joe Ajaero. In a statement on Sunday, which is today, the union accused Uzodinma of invading the hometown of the union's president in Owerri, Imo State capital, on Saturday. The union alleged that Uzodinma instituted the latest attack, believing that Ajaero would still be in his hometown, recuperating from the bruises he received when he was arrested during the union's protest on Wednesday. This is the same Imo State. Like I told you again, the police denied allegations that it, brutalized the union leader. Let's also look at this particular development from Loretta Onoche, who, responded in regards to what transpired in Imo State, and also the Nigeria Labour Congress president. It's quite unfortunate when I read out some of these remarks from her. It almost feels like she is not even bothered by what is currently going on, almost grasping at straws to retain that sense of relevance, regardless of how many times anyone says anything to clip her wings. She keeps on reiterating and standing firm on a supposed belief that she will continue to remain on the path of the government, even if no appointment has been given to her. So you do know she's a former presidential aide, a member of the ruling APC. She has accused the Nigerian Labour Congress president of being an unapologetic member of the Labour Party. She said that Joe Ajaero was moving around campaigning with the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, during the just concluded elections. I don't even know how that amounts to what actually transpired, whereby he was brutalized. I don't know what explanation she's trying to give. She made this disclosure via her Twitter handle, that is her X account. So I'm going to read out the statement. She says, "It's not in doubt that Joe Ajaero is an unapologetic member of the Labour Party. He went around campaigning with Peter Obi in the Labour Party Ashrebi during the just concluded election season. He didn't know that Nigerian workers belong to other parties other than LUP." So it befuddles me.
She's just endorsing the brutality. I don't know them.
Now, there is also a recent development. The Labour Party governorship candidate of Imo State, Ethan Achonu's convoy, was reportedly attacked today at Orie-Obi Bezena, Owerri West local government area by Tiger Base and Ibubagu Security. So I don't know what is going on in Imo State.
It is quite.
It literally feels like, if Hope Uzodinma wants to deny it this time around, I don't know how he wants to deny it. But any opposition right now, any strong contender for Imo State, is either something happens to them, they're attacked. So right now, they can't even campaign. They can't do anything because he's currently the governor of the state. He has the resources. He has the security apparatus at his disposal to do what he wants to do. So the question is, do we see November 11 for Imo State being transparent? Or do we see somebody just hijacking it? Whether people come out to campaign, whether people come out to vote or not.
I don't think Imo election will be transparent at all. It will not. Going by the credentials of Yakubu Mahmoud, who has been very, very insincere and inconsistent with his attitude as INEC chairman, I don't see any election conducted by Mahmoud as being credible again in Nigeria. I don't have that belief. Because somebody that can come out openly through his recently retired exposed person. Well, I don't know, one of my friends went to a conference, I was snapping with him, first to Sokoye, you know. I can't post with such people that will just say something openly in television and come out again to deny it. It has no credibility that will warrant me to post with him. You know, people like that in INEC, with somebody like Hope Uzodimma, his level of brutality and the way he emerged, he didn't emerge through the will of the people. Up to today, people still refer him as Supreme Court imposed governor, which is what he is. He didn't emerge through popular opinion, a popular will of the Imo. I lived in Owerri. I know Imo State. I know Emeku, that place that Joe came from. I know Ihiagwa, I know Ogwa, I know Ikeduru, I know Biazamo, I know Ata, I know Ikeduru, I know Ngobala, I know Owerri very well. I lived there for a couple of years. I drove around Owerri. Owerri used to be a very, very peaceful, Imo State used to be a very peaceful place during election. And it's a state outside in the east, outside Anambra, where the will of people always triumph over the rule of mice and brutality. Another one election where Sam Bako was alive and the Iwanya, they were locking horns, in Imo State, that I was there. And it was like, who are we going to follow? Iwanya had the power, had the might. Iwanya was not brutal, but he has the federal might then, and it was very, very rich. Sam Bako, the former governor, was still alive. Sam Bako just came and made a broadcast, and the rest was history. Imo Puna said, where there's Sam, where there's Sam is, or was there, there's Sam. That's where I will be. Because of the love they have for them in Sam Bako. That party, I think NRC or whatever is cleared almost all the seats in Imo State. That's the kind of election we had in Nigeria then. Popular opinion. Iwanya was able to win his own local government. Ikeduru, from Ikeduru local government, you know. He won Ikeduru. For you to know, I know the place very well. The other states, Sam Bako's party cleared it because they love Sam Bako, because they endorse that party. But it's no longer the case now. That's why things are getting deplorable every day in Nigeria. That day in Imo State, everybody, my uncle, everybody was dressing up to go and vote. No brutality, no security, nothing. After they said, we voted this, we voted that. It was like, people were like, some people voted and said somewhere they were drinking, they were having fun after voting. No fear of being attacked, no fear of being brutalized, no fear of anything. And they already know who will win because they know who actually voted more. And the person actually won, you know. But now, the type of politics played by Hope Uzodimma, his backgrounds, his attitude, what he was doing before he even went into politics. You know, these are the people that 1999, the politics threw into our political system. Because people never believed that there would be a proper transition there. Based on the setbacks we suffered in 1983 and 1993, MKO and the rest of them. Okay. You know, people never believed 1999 would be like, you know, something serious. And all those rogues, you know, Hope Uzodimma, I don't want to, but I'll say it. It was close to Maurice Ibek, all these 419 people, the one that died, House of Reps, you know, that defrauded with Okweleho, what they call Okweleho days. You're supposed to know them when they were running. I don't want to start mentioning their names. But we all knew them, most of us from the East. John Neboli said them, all those guys there. And one Lagos, let me even call them. I have to start calling these names. You know, they were part of them. I heard Uzodimma used to be their boy. So do you expect a kind of a civilized attitude from such a person?
I don't know, Barrister Joe. Imo State has become a state of thuggery.
I'm telling you, Imo State used to be...
I don't understand.
When I was in Owerri in 1994, 95, 96, up to 1999, Owerri was 93 to 99, I was in Owerri. I lived there. I can speak Imo State, Owerri very, very well. The dialect, very, very fluent. I don't want to say it on the studio. I knew Owerri very, very well. It was very, very quiet, very peaceful.
Exactly.
Even within the surroundings, up to Ngobala. I
remember Rochas Okorocha made Imo States a state of coming to have fun.
Yes.
To go to Owerri like this, it's a city of come and enjoy.
Royce,
exactly.
Wedral, Mbise Road.
All of a sudden became something else.
Road, Okigwe Road, Wedra Road, you know, Ekenebu. I know where very well. You know, I know where. I grew up there. Very, very well. But it was a very, very peaceful place. Whatever money you have will be enough for you. Whatever money you have is enough for you than in Imo State. They thrive in poultry, in bakery, in supermarkets,
Do you know Barrister Joe? Because I want us to talk about other things.
Yeah.
Or Imo State has become a state that a lot of persons can travel to.
Yes.
Now, a couple of Igbo residents, especially in Lagos, they're trying to go home and invest because the idea is, since you're telling us, okay, if things will be difficult for us, they've been advising, go to your home, invest in your hometown, invest in your place of origin.
It's not even out of place.
I know it's not out of place, but I'm saying, but the state has become, I'm coming. The place has become almost, in terms of security, unbearable. You can't go. I even heard that at this point, the way they do the kidnapping, they ask for as low as 50,000 naira.
That's in Imo State.
Imo State.
The governor refused, like in Anambra.
And now the governor doesn't even stay in the state.
Yes.
He's controlling from Abuja.
The governor he has no moral compass to fight those things, because most of those people doing it are loyal to him. In Anambra, for instance, the governor might have his own style of leadership, but the governor of Anambra was fully determined to fight crime.
Barrister Joe Mukedi.
Like in Anambra
Nathan
now,
Achonu's convoy was attacked today in Imo State.
In Anambra, you have relative peace. Somebody was buried, a local government chairman's father died in my town. Commissioners drove on their own. Everybody came there on their own, driving themselves, finished the burial, and when nobody was kidnapped, nobody was attacked. Because the state is committed towards fighting crime. But whereby a governor cannot, because of some patronage he has from his boys, that might enable him to win an election. He can't fight. Just like, I'm sorry, we have to start telling the truth in Nigeria. Just like telling governor of Lagos to genuinely fight, Agboros.
Yes.
Or start fighting, these are machineries that enable them to carry out some jobs that, enable them to succeed during elections. So they can't fight them. They find it difficult to fight them.
All right.
Like something is applicable in Imo State. If Opus of them should go all out to fight those boys, it will affect the fortunes of his election.
It will?
Yes, because they are loyal to him. All this Bagu, you say, who are those that created the Bagu? And that's why they have issue with Ojudoka Nnamdi-Kanu's ESM.
All right.
Nnamdi Kanu and the group created ESM.
I want us to
but democracy is about government of the people.
By the people and for the people.
We should allow the will of people to triumph.
To prevail. That's just it.
Acholono has the right to contest. The PDP candidate has the right to contest. Even the Labour president that went to Imo State in some time, he has the right of having a candidate, even though as by his position.
Labour Party governorship candidate.
Yes, he may not choose somebody, even if Labour Party is different from Labour Union, but he has the right to have a candidate. And also, I learned that the governor has not paid salary for 14 months. According
to the governor, he said he's not owing anybody's salary, but he's not the one responsible for federal civil servants. For the state civil servants, he pays, according to what in his response, he said he should ask, since 2020 he took over, he's not owing them salaries. That was his reaction to the Labour Party saying that he spearheaded the brutalization on Joe Ajaro. So he's saying that, according to him, said Joe Ajaro is finding it difficult to demarcate his leadership position to lead an organization as the NLC or to be politically involved in local politics.
Mobilizing people.
That's the thing. So Joe Ajaro is saying that salaries are being owed, pensions also, and that there are late payments that have not been made for a couple of months. But in response, though, the governor of the state said he's not owing any state civil servants.
Let further substantiate that. Because if governor is not owing, and Joe Ajaro has gone home to mobilize people against the governor, that is mischief and malice, and I will not support that, even though I don't like the governor, because of the way he emerged. He didn't do anything wrong to me. I don't have anything against. I don't know him. I'm not benefiting from anybody there. Since I left there 1996 or 1999, I've not even gone there. So I don't have anything to do. I've just set my mind as I feel about it. Just the way that governor emerged that annoyed every lover of democracy and good governance. So if the governor is not owing salaries and all those things, and the Labour Party, the Labour leader decided to use whatever disguise to go and campaign for Labour Party chairman, I don't endorse that, because as a leader, you have to draw a distinction between partisanship and the group you lead. If the group you lead has a membership of people of different beliefs, different religions, different political ideology, different political belief. You have to be neutral.
All right, Barrister Joe.
But if they do, you also have to be neutral. No matter however you might have your preference for a particular candidate, you can do that underground. When we are like in leadership, some places we deploy our boys.
All right, Barrister Joe.
You can tell our boys to go underground, but you cannot show up.
Let's move on to other topics. We can't dwell too much on one particular topic. Apparently, APC winning election petitions, according to HURIWA, they are saying it's because of the appeal court president, Dongban-Mensem. This is basically what the allegation is all about. In its most scathing attack yet on the judiciary regarding the conduct of the election petitions, especially the cases being appealed, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, has said the ruling All Progressives Congress has conquered the court and is winning its cases because Honorable Justice Monica Dongban-Mensem is the president of the Court of Appeal. The group stated this today, being Sunday, November 5, during a press conference attended by a coalition of civil society groups in Abuja. HURIWA frowned at contradictory judgments being delivered by the Court of Appeal, which have raised concerns in several quarters about the independence of the judiciary, the place of justice, and the Electoral Act in deciding election cases. Particularly, the group noted that the judgments that have been delivered in Plateau State have left much to be desired and hinted at possible interference from the president of the Court of Appeal. Do you agree with that?
For Court of Appeal, most especially from houses of reps and senates, where they have the final authority. For me, they have been magnanimous to all the parties.
Really?
Yes. So many decisions against some Labour candidates at the lower courts were reversed at the Court of Appeal. Do you understand my point? Mm-hmm. So many PDP candidates have actually won at the Court of Appeal, and so many of them also have actually lost at the Court of Appeal. So it's not like a blanket thing. There are so many. The one in Lagos, the Court of Appeal nullified the ruling of the lower courts, nullifying his election as a Labour Party candidate. I think the one of Delta State that with a Lumelu younger brother, Court of Appeal also nullified the ruling of the lower courts, nullifying his election. Court of Appeal upheld his election, and several of them from other, opposition parties have actually gotten judgments at the Court of Appeal. There might be isolated cases. We cannot use it as a blanket condemnation. Do you understand my point now? Like I know the other guy that lost from PDP, it was even still that for me, for APC, the one in that lost the election in Adamawa State. You're supposed to know the young man that had issue with a toy, sex toy, and controversy and things like that. The opposed Muslim ticket. He's in APC. He lost to PDP. So I cannot categorically say that there is a miscarriage of justice from Court of Appeal. That's appeal court justice. That's has not been like a controversial person, and lawyers don't see has been. Kind of deep into all this compromise and all that. We know people that when you mention their name as occupying such offices, you'll be like, that's their kind of attitude.
But let me take you back to this. Let's talk about the judicial system or whatever. With what happened with Joe Ajaro, I was expecting that the president would have reacted. Maybe someone from the presidency would have said something, because that action speaks volumes. A lot of Nigerians may not understand what that means, but if you think deeply and understand a pattern that is currently at play in some areas as regards to in terms of opposition, it's quite scary. Nobody from the presidency has come out to offer any condolence, to say, okay, so an investigation should be carried out according to the state police command in Imo. I'm going back there again because this also, the emergence of Hope Uzodinma is consequence of our judicial system and the way through which the Supreme Court gave its ruling, which a lot of Nigerians are still trying to understand how that came about. So in reaction to this, though, we've not heard nobody from the government has said anything. It almost feels like they're satisfied with what happened, or they're happy with what happened because it's an opposition to them, and crippling any form of disgruntle whatsoever from any quarter. We've not heard that. Now, the the Nigerian Labour Congress has said they're commencing on strike November 8th. But a court has said that they're not meant to go on strike. There's a strike injunction to that. They're saying the National Industrial Court has mandated that they do not go on strike. So the question I'm asking is...
But that issue of courts meddling with people, exercising their rights...
It can only happen when it feels like the court no longer has its independence. I feel like the court already chose a side. And this is me. I know I'm not meant to give an opinion, but with the recent trace of things and what we're seeing play out or pan out, it almost feels like our judicial system has taken a side, which is quite dangerous, because the judicial system should be the last resort, the final arbiter for the common man. If you do not have the financial means, if you do not have the political connection for anybody to help you, the court should be your solace. So a situation where you can no longer trust that one system, what happens to the common man?
Like I said, I've said it, the danger, very, very serious danger we're encountering in Nigeria now is courts is building the government instead of building democracy. The court is just like all out supporting the government and not enhancing our democracy. They are building the government, strengthening the government instead of strengthening our democracy. Yes, let me put it succinctly. Nigerian courts are strengthening the government instead of strengthening our democracy. And this time it will crash. You look at what is happening in Burkina Faso now. Burkina Faso is fourth fastest growing economy in the world. After they have that military coup. I'm not calling for coup, but there's a level that you drag people, their option will be like to look for an alternative. And the only alternative to this judicial and political gangstering in Nigeria is for everybody to get out of that place. And then we'll try another means of government. There's other means of government at our disposal as alternative than the military, which nobody is calling for. But which our attitude, the way we manage democracy, might force them to come in. Because you look at court ought to strengthen democracy. Court ought to strengthen the people. Court ought to strengthen popular participation, popular opinion, popular view, the wishes of the people. But presently, our courts are shutting people out, shutting people up, seeing people as meddlesome interlopers, seeing people as noisy, simple as just disturbance, simple as I don't understand.
You do know that there was a there was
a now telling Labour not to go on strike. What do you intend to achieve?
There's an injunction from the National Industrial Court for them to commence on any strike.
Labour should not go on strike. How do you strengthen democracy where people can no longer checkmate the government? How do you expect the people to checkmate the government? Is it by killing the office occupiers, by shooting them, by destroying their houses or whatever? The only legitimate and legalized way to do that is to back on strike. When you're back on strike, governments will feel like the system might collapse. They'll call you to a table. Through the labor, people will speak. Labor will come up with the agitations of the people, put in a paper form. Look at what people want. Look at what they want. Look at what they want. Government will say, okay, these ones are not attainable. Even though we couldn't get to this, let us do this, let us do that. At least they will have a fear that people can revolt. Because if you make, they've always said it, if you make a peaceful resolution or whatever difficult, you make a violent one inevitable. Right. Because if you keep on checkmating people using the courts, something will happen. They'll rush to the court, talk to one of the judges. Judges will give injunction, give restraint on that, and give all those things. It is not supposed to be the essence of the courts. That's why during the military, there's what they call Oster clauses. These Oster clauses are a kind of designed in such a way that courts cannot legislate on certain things. Maybe the constitution, the powers of the military and the actions of the military, because it's not a democratic system. They don't want you to tell them that what they're doing is wrong. But under democracy, as a court, you are allowed, unfettered, capacity to give your rulings even against the president. And that is why you have these three arms in democracy to function optimally as checks and balances, because they are the components that will enable a sustainable and participatory democracy to emerge. Now, you are, instead of now supporting the people and reviewing the activities of the executive, You are now supporting the executive in everything. To this extent, people now see it as a mission impossible to take government to court and win.
Because that's
Nigerian Palace.
Exactly, that's what's taking place.
Nigerian Palace will tell you that can you take government to court and win?
That is what is taking place in Imo State now.
Can you win government?
No form of opposition. Any opposition right now will be quashed by any means possible. Violence. I feel that the president should say something about this.
The president
I feel that the Imo State government, I don't know, but they should allow elections take place fair and square.
Everybody should know this. See, there are things that during time of election, there are fears we had in emergence of likely emergence of Bola medicine. We had all these fears, and they are becoming realities. Tinubu's government cannot conduct free and fair election. Tinubu is not an advocate of free and fair election. Why so many free and fair election took place last time?
Do you think the mantra of you take it, you snatch it, you grab it? Yes. Is that a mantra that's at play? Take it by force?
Before Tinubu will even finish his term as a president, it might be difficult for any other party to win an election in Nigeria, except that party will be like PDP by name and the APC by conduct.
Barrister Joe, are we saying that the voice or the strength of the people can no longer hold sway?
How will it hold? Because you have to look at democracy according to people that practice it. Like in Osun State, you know what happened when the former governor was there? It was because Buhari was the president. They cannot circumvent Buhari to go and act there. That was why Adeleke was able to win that election. Oyetola would have actually come back. If you look at what happened there, when Buhari haven't had his feet, Buhari was able to give Nigerian free and fair election at governorship level. Buhari never rigged any states, both in Edo, both in Anambra, both in Osun. Everywhere they conducted election under Buhari governorship, Buhari never allowed any rigging. But I'm telling you, it will not be the same under Tinubu. What INEC chairman is highly compromised.
All right, but he's the one that has been raising alarm as to the. He's been the one raising alarm as to the security situation in the state.
The government is doing something very, very dangerous that might even consume the government. You don't shut down everywhere. You allow people to breathe. You still find an avenue to allow people to know that, feel like they are part of a system.
Or that their voices can be heard.
When you believe you can shut everybody up everywhere, they must find an avenue to react.
All right.
Like this Labour Party issue, even though the Labour might not be working for the president must condemn that irresponsible and degrading treatment method to Labour president, because they may turn tomorrow and then they will go on strike. And by whatever means, they may not want to back out.
Barrister Joe, we need to take phone calls and read WhatsApp messages. But before we do that, President Tinubu has again expressed his satisfaction with the outcome of the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. The president, who contested and won the February 25 elections on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, said he is proud of what he has achieved. He added that he couldn't have achieved it without the help and support of those who believed in him and supported him. So, according to him, he is proud of winning the 2023 presidential elections and also defeating Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and Peter Obi of the Labour Party, who challenged his victory up to the Supreme Court. So, he declared, "I am proud standing before you. I'm very proud of every one of you, and I am proud of myself too. I went for election and won with your support. They took me to court and I won." Do you think the president's statement is scathing, sarcastic, or he's trying to tell his opponents that with all the, the measures you took to ensure that I was not authenticated or legitimized at the Supreme Court, I still won? You went outside the country to get my certificate, to get my alleged...
It's a very sarcastic one, but then he would have been cautioned not to make such a statement. Some empires don't fall when they thought that they would go down.
Okay.
They collapse when they never knew that such will come.
Okay.
So what I would have advised me to, play low. Look into the problems of the people, challenges of Nigerians.
Okay.
Begin to correct impressions people build around you, around your personality and candidacy during the election. Prove them wrong. Do otherwise, like you're saying that you cannot fight corruption. Showore and the rest of them said it. Now fight corruption. Prove them wrong.
All right.
You say you cannot have a good economy, cannot, your men can just balkanize everywhere in Nigeria. Prove them wrong. let things work. And not to like mock those that actually contested with you.
All right, you can actually.
Nigerians actually have the reason not to support you.
Okay, you can be part of the conversation this evening. It's 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp number is 0700 903 9039. 0700 903 9039. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Oh, we lost that connection. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Hello. Hello. Hello, I can hear you. Kindly turn down the audio of your radio. Hello.
I turn it off.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you? Name and location, please. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is All
right, please go ahead.
Yes, I really want to talk about the PDP topic you brought this evening.
Okay.
You see, yes. I would not like the PDP to do away with Atiku because he said it's not doing away soon. He's going to stay to rest PDP. If this PDP has become a moribund and a dilapidated political party, what he needs is refurbished. They have to refurbish PDP. They have to invest on ideas and ideology that established PDP long before now. They should not allow PDP to die. If PDP die, there will be no strong opposition because I think investment is very important this time.
All right.
You have to not look down on anybody, even though it's a nomenclature or a referral, because as your guest rightly said, that 5 governors, what they did. What Atiku did that time was not really encouraging at all. Okay. But this time, even though whoever, the aggressive one and the educated one, bring them together, there are a lot of supporters that support PDP. No matter what, election is a competition. Some people gain, some people lose. It's just a game. So if you invest heavily on the moribund PDP, if you come up again, and the supporters will also come, contribute their quotas, then pick from the scratch and continue. There are still big people in the PDP. They should not do it with article just like that. Where is he now? That is what I don't know. Where is he? Is he in Adamawa or in Abuja? Or he has gone to Dubai? He should stay with us and do what he is supposed to do. And for Ajero, pressure group, they cannot keep government on things. Right. And they cannot keep government on the common footing. Nigeria continue to lose faith on them. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for calling 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call, 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp number is 0700 903 9039. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just want to add a little thing, like what is the barrister, the one you invite, I've just said. You have just said it all. You see, the president that is talking against people that contest with him, that he is having victory. He is not what of president now. You could have done otherwise. Now let us see how competent he is. He's not talking about the competence, about the masses. He's talking about people that they are fighting for their rights. So if actually it is a free election, everybody will see it. We know what you did. We know the manipulation. We said you don't want to be a president, and that's what's happening. And you are still talking.
Hello. Oh, we lost that connection. Kindly call back 0700 903 903 903. That's the number. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please.
Good evening, Sister.
Good evening. How are you?
I thank you this evening.
All right.
I did listen to your analysis.
Thank you.
God bless you.
All right.
What I want to say is concerning
okay.
Every woman supposed to know that the Fulanis are not happy. That when Masao was started in Imo land, they never attacked anybody. If the the time of Achiku Denwa. Obasanjo used Achiku Denwa to kill a lot of Masobians. Then, when these people take over, the same envy continued. Now, I want to say concerning Hope what he signed. He signed a contract which every Igbo man is supposed to know. He did not win gubernatorial election in Imo State. Then the Fulanis are looking for the person that will put to Wahala in Igbo land.
All right. I need us to talk with facts. This is not an ethnic conversation. We're talking about the recent situation in Imo State. And so far, we didn't mention any other ethnic group beyond the parties that are already involved. The brutalization of Joe Ajaero, the attack on Nathan Achonu, who is the governorship candidate of Labour Party at the moment. Also, even PDP too. So all the opposition seems to be attacked. Anybody opposing is being attacked. And I'm not seeing any Fulani person there. So please, when we call in, let's not ethnicize our comments. Thank you. All right, go ahead, please. Hello?
Every demand supposed to know that.
Okay.
They signed a contract. That is what we want to maintain it. We want to go to second term.
All right, thank you.
To continue the job.
All right, thank you very much. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 0700 903 9039. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Name and location.
Evening.
Good evening.
My name is Solomon.
Solomon, location, please.
Okay.
Location, where are you calling from?
From Asaba.
Yes, I said location. Where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I said I'm calling you from Asaba. Can you hear
Asaba,
me?
okay, Asaba, Delta State. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So first and first, because I've actually listened to both you and Barrister Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And first, I think from journalism perspective, you initially said you don't want to take side, but it seems to like into.
Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903. Hello.
Hello. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Kindly turn down the audio of your radio, please. I can hear the feedback. But I can hear myself.
My radio is not on.
I can hear myself.
Maybe it's away from the network. Even I'm out of the place. Pata.
All right, go ahead. What's your name?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm just hearing myself back. But what's your name?
I'm Emeka. I'm calling from Ejibo.
All right, Emeka, please go ahead.
Good. I was from the and they say who?
Hello.
I don't know why PDP is afraid of expelling Weekend. I don't know why they are so afraid. PDP is down already. So what they need now is a total reconstruction. Let them do away with all these elements that are putting sand inside their gari. For them to stand afloat, they can only do away with all the old politicians that we choose to come out, and at the end they will not achieve anything. Let it be reconstructed so that people will regain the confidence they had before in PDP.
Okay.
Number two, Uzodinma has left Imo State so inhabitable. I'm a citizen of Imo State, but I can tell you, Imo State has never had it this bad. It became so quite terrible ever since he assumed office as Imo State helmsman. Security, zero. Infrastructure, zero. Politically, zero. Health-wise, zero. Then road network, zero. Where do we count him from? And he still had bent of going for a second term. I think they know the importance of assuming power, but they know the importance of governance. Where the citizens have no say. From the federal level to the local government level, the citizen cannot say anything. You cannot organize a strike. You cannot go on protest. You cannot do anything, no matter how peaceful you want to be. They will shut you down. And The court is already bought up. They are compromised. There's no more hope for the common man. I'm afraid what this nation will become in the next 5 years with APC still in power. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Hello. Yeah, good evening. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Uche, and I'm calling from Oshedi.
Uche, I can hear your voice. Can you kindly turn down the audio of your radio?
I've really offed it.
All right.
I'm from Imo State.
Okay.
If you Zodema can say that he's not owing people, I'm not talking of the federal workers.
The Imo State workers.
Yes, Imo State workers. He's owing many of them. How can somebody be employed? You've worked up to 10 to 15 years or even 20 years. He'll come to say that they are not work. They are not eligible. Rightly employed. Many of them. But if some of them, if they go and sort their own way, they start paying them. I'm from Imo State. I just even returned from Imo State last night.
How is the state?
So what
How is the state now?
Is rubbish. My that place is not a place of living.
My God.
I must tell you the truth. Imo State is not a place. Since this man entered, there's no been. When Rochas was in Imo State, even he created a commissioner for enjoyment.
Yes.
In those days, by Wednesday,
his sister.
Yes,
his sister
no matter whomever it is, no matter whomever he is, but he created that position. That means you walk freely in Imo State, then freely. But now you talk, you are in trouble. Okay, no be board for any other party. No be board for any other party. Even this poster, place the poster on the wall. If they catch you, you are in trouble.
That's so bad.
That's very bad.
So nobody can say. And if they say that the election in Imo State is going to be free and fair, it's typical lie. They've already written it. And most people say that they are not going out. Because if you go out, you say you are going on your own risk. Anything that happens to you, you take it.
All right. Thank you.
So some people are saying just leave him, let him do the remaining police and get away from there. Because already the result has already been written.
Oh, wow. That's discouraging.
That is that. Yes.
All right.
That's why
it is.
Very sad.
Because if you're saying let us just let him be, and I don't know. Hello.
That's why I'm saying we are pressing civilian regime and not democracy.
Hello. Okay. Wow, this person is 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Let me take some WhatsApp messages now. So if I'm pending on your calls, I sincerely apologize. Just give me 2 minutes. Good evening, Esther Wachukwana, distinguished guest in the studio, Barrister John Woketi. Imo, this message is for you guys. If you people want divine hope from above, you guys should vote wisely and vote the man over there out, because he is not a true Democrat and didn't mean well for the good people of Imo. There's this saying they said, when a good man rules or governs a people, the people rejoice. But when a wicked man rules or governs, the people suffers. Imo deserve a good leader who will adhere to the sufferings and yearnings of the people. Emmanuel Chijuoke from Ikoto. Thank you, Emmanuel. All right, excellent evening, presenter and the great analyst in the studio. I'm always happy when I hear the voice of this barrister in the studio. The problem of insecurity in Nigeria are caused by the political leaders, those who are in power and the one behind the insecurity pandemonium in Nigeria. God will judge all the cabals in government, making things difficult for Nigerians someday. Francis from First Tax side of Lagos. Thank you so much, Francis. Good evening, crew. In the midst of abject poverty that the previous and this government has put Nigerians into, that the labeled as the capital poverty of the world, they are buying cars and yacht renovations of existing buildings with billions for their cruising and enjoyment, spending money like prodigal children while they turn the people marginaries and beggars. We have the highest IDPs in the world when we are not at war. It's all because of their wrong policies and governance. 40 farmers killed because of insecurity. No refinery, no good road, no agriculture and industries, high school fees, inflation and economic disaster. They turn to government of waste by waste for waste. It's a shame that the worst of us is ruling the best of us. INEC and judiciary has put Nigerians in this nightmare. We must deliver ourselves from these taskmasters. Dyer from Fagba. Thank you, Dyer, for that particular message. All right. Good evening, Esther, and your guest. Esther, believe me, Hope Uzodinma has already written election results, and he has already paid for the Supreme Court judges that will determine the judgment. But expect God appeared in INEC chairman's heart before something will change. So just look at what happened to last election that took place in March 18th in Lagos State. But INEC chairman went on and declared candidates of APC the winner of election. So it will be the same in Imo State. Even the judiciary are now the bodyguards of APC in Nigeria. My name is Kelechi from Oshodi. All right, thank you, Kelechi, for that message. My name is Colitex. Good evening, my people. If we youth don't arise with our last drop of blood and tackle this problem before us, these people might endanger the lives of our children. Okay, good evening, Esther and Barrister Joe. The silence of the presidency and the assault on the NLC national chairman is loud and affirms complicity and feudalism instead of democracy. Symbolic as all workers and labor unions have been captured, hence citizens shall continue to tighten their belt and the proceeds of the sacrifice shall continue to fund the lifestyle of the gladiators. 2. Mr. President can be proud of himself as he beat the entire institutions against all odds to clinch the presidential seat. I wonder how we citizens will cope. Moving on, Simisola from Isolo, Lagos. Thank you, Simisola, for that particular message. Esther, it's a bad example the way Tinubu's government has made its appointment which favors one ethnic group. All right, you didn't tell me your name. Okay, this is from Samuel. I've seen your previous messages on the WhatsApp platform. Esther, my name is Abiola from Ayabo. I perceive that we are under political terrorism in Nigeria. Court order to stop strike, Uzodinma removing opposition's billboards, etc. Now, wow. Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name, please?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you?
Fine, it's Nemeka speaking from Ezigbo.
Nemeka, all right, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. My greeting to Ogabaris.
Okay.
Thank you, my brother. Good evening.
Yeah, Dalu, my brother.
Please go ahead.
My dear Esther, Esther, Hope Uzodinma should know one thing, that when you start to be weak,
Okay.
if the day someone start to be strong, you should remember that you will not remain there forever. And Imo State, so far as Imo State belongs to Igbo land, also Hope Uzodinma should be counting what he's doing down. That if you step on people to crowd wherever you are, when the time reaches, the people also will come after you and step on your own tune. That's one apart. And the Baba way they tell us, say, he won everywhere. Yes, you won everywhere, as you said. But today, they are selling $1,350 naira. One cup of rice in Nigeria, last time I checked, I convert naira to dollar. One cup of rice is $1, 10 cents in Nigeria. And you are paying people how much as a salary. Okay, you have won everything. Turn around the country. Let's behave like a leader. Let's see. Not to be there be the problem. How can the work be done? Because the work cannot be done by the militaries, by saying keke. We are tired of hearing. Talk is too much. We are tired of hearing. People are dying every day. The other day I'm coming down from Isoro Road. I saw a man lying down behind after the.
Hello?
I see this man there, and the man is lying down for long.
Okay.
Nobody has picked him. People are going one because of hungry. May they do something, please.
All right, thank you.
May God bless you people.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Okay, 0700 903 903 903. Hello. 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 All right, I can hear you. Hello. All right, 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Hello. Welcome to. Kindly turn down the audio of your radio, please.
Hello, good evening. My name is Mr. Alozie from Ejibo.
All right, Mr. Alozie, you have a minute.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, brother. I greet you.
Whenever I heard your voice on the radio, I'll be happy.
Thank you so much for that.
I don't have much to say based on what is discussed over there. Under this regime, for me, I expected there's nothing good that will come out of this regime. So the only thing I have to say is that let everybody just have patience and bestow their trust in God. That is the only thing. For this regime, from the head, it has been spoiled from the head. So there's nothing good that will come out of this regime. I have been telling people that this particular regime now, it will be the rules and the regulations of this now will be, the system will be, the more you look, the less you see.
All right. Thank you. All right, 0700 903 903 903. Hello. 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 I can't seem to get the calls from the WhatsApp to be heard. All right, let me take these messages and then we'll wrap up this evening. Evening crew, a leader is known by its humility, selflessness, listen, and does what the people want, not what they want. A leader comes for debate, doesn't need vote buying and barrier intimidation with INEC and police conspiracy to win elections. Also, you don't need to compromise the judiciary to claim legitimacy. A leader thinks before they act. They don't create wrong policies that will bring the people into poverty. They have been buying cars and yachts, renovate with billions for their enjoyment. Is this leadership? This low... Okay, eye service propagandas. All right. Okay, thank you so much for your messages. Please, when you send messages, just be direct. Do not give any insult. Esther, good evening. My name is Ekele Odoma from Agege. My advice for APC is that they should stop creating problems in Nigeria, because if they continue to force themselves on the people like this, we should go fight them back, because we don't see anything good about APC. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that message. Good evening, Esther. Governor Hope Uzodinma will surely secure the seat by hook or crook, because Tinubu is there at the presidency to support his APC party member. They are birds of a feather that flocks together. Is this about Tinubu, or is it about Hope Uzodinma as the governor of Imo State? Good evening, VOP. It's quite disheartening that our courts have been compromised. I believe God cannot do for us what we can do for ourselves. The time to go on our feet is now. Rise up, Nigerians. Okay, good evening, crew. In the midst of, okay, this message is repeated. All right, thank you all for your messages. We need to wrap up the program at the moment. Those of you who called, thank you. Those of you who are calling at the moment and I cannot pick, I do apologize. We've run out of time. Barrister Joe, what's your final take?
We'll keep on, making our voices heard, speaking out, and hopefully one day there'll be a great intervention. And that's desired change and democracy, in real essence of democracy that we want.
All right.
Will become our portion.
Okay, so that's a wrap on the political spotlight right here on VOP 90.3 FM. VOP stands for Voice of the People. We give you a platform to air your views or perceptions on issues across the polity. My name is Esther Umwachuku. You can actually follow me on YouTube at Estic Media. That's ESTIQ MEDIA. You can subscribe. Also, my social media account on Twitter is at Esther Wachiku, Estic Media on YouTube, as well as Instagram, Esther Nwaz, and of course, Facebook, Esther Wachiku. Barrister Joe, social media handles?
John Wackett.
All right. Oh, just John Wackett across all platforms. Okay. And then, of course, subscribe to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We're also on YouTube. Also across all social media handles is at Voice of the People 90.3 FM. To have yourselves a wonderful evening.